Hello and welcome to the CCHL this week. It's February 7th, 2024. I am Zach Beamish, and we got a long slate of games to start talking about. So let's do that nice and quick. Here I am, because I don't have the highlights for the first couple of games here, so we're just going to use my face as the viewing experience. Starting off, Navin defeated Hawkesbury 9-0. At no point was the game ever close. Navin scoring a minute and 6 seconds into the game and continuing to put pressure on for a 5-goal first period. Gabriel Crete had a hat trick and 4 points, leads the Grads to the dominant win. This includes 2 power play goals in 55 seconds. Nico Peone had the opposite score sheet with 1 goal and 3 assists. Devin Savignac and Colin Holmes both had a goal and an assist. Noah Carpenter, Gigi Brown, and Danik Marion had the other Grads goals. Matthew Waugh, Cristobal Tola, and Danny Markham had 2 assists. In net, Jaden Nelson had a 26-save shutout. Dimitri Pellico started the game for the Hawks, making 8 saves on 13 shots in the first period. Caleb Shabbat then came to work for the second period, making 19 saves on 23 shots. The Grads extended their win streak to 4 games. OGS defeated Renfrew by a score of 8-4. Ottawa finally found their scoring touch in this game, scoring 3 times in the first and the second period, with 2 more in the third for good measure. Three times in the first period and the second period, with 2 more in the third for good measure. The Wolves made it 3-2 for a short while in the second period, but never got the lead. Brandon Paluzak led the way for the Junior Sens with 2 goals and 4 points. Jordan Graham and Liam Lucas each had 1 goal and 3 points. Jacob Renaud Vio had a goal and an assist. William Francisco Penon, Charles Pedret, and Conrad Moline all had goals for OJS in the game as well. Michael Gallery and Thomas Barney had 2 assists in the win. In net, Connor Shibley made 36 saves for the win. Andrew Morton scored 3 times for a hat-trick in the losing effort. He had an assist as well, contributing on every goal for Renfrew in the game. Jason Letourneau scored the other Wolves goal. Nolan Lane started the game for Renfrew, making 6 saves on 9 shots, and got pulled a little less than 17 minutes into the game. Associated player James Cole came in relief, making his CCHL debut. He made 17 saves on 21 shots. Ottawa has won the season series against Renfrew 3-2. And now we have highlights. Isn't it beautiful?
Coming out now, boom.
I'm going to start with this game here right there. Now you cannot. This Falls defeating Cornwall by a score of 1-0 in the shootout. A goalie battle occurring in this game. 60 minutes of hockey and an extra 5 minutes of 3-on-3 resulted in no goals. The game went to the shootout where Quinn Booth would score for the Bears in the second round, the only goal in the shootout and the game. Nicholas Strakakis made 21 saves for the shutout for the Bears. Donald Hickey had 27 saves for a technical shutout for the Colts. Smiths Falls are now on a 6-game winning streak. Cornwall had their 4-game winning streak snapped. Rockland defeated Brockville by a score of... I didn't have to put on here. I probably should put on here. Anyway, Rockland defeated Brockville in another blowout. Rockland had a 4-goal first period and outmatched Brockville in every department. Anthony Hall had 2 goals for the Nationals. Sam Dumas had a goal and 2 assists in the game. Xavier Laurent and Tristan Felix Tremblay had a goal and assist each. Matisse Bedard, Alex Culloway, and Jaden Davis contributed 1 goal each. Kai Stullers had a huge 3-assist night, and Kyle Leonard had 2 assists of his own. In net, Benoit Forget made 23 saves on 24 shots for the win. Caleb McCauley was the lone goal scorer for Brockville, registering his first CCHL goal. Dustin Riff gave up 3 goals on 10 shots and was pulled for Zane Spaniel, making 19 saves on 24 shots. Brockville has dropped 3 straight, and Rockland has won the season series 3-1 with a game remaining. Kentville defeated Hawkesbury by a score of 1-0. The Hawks had control of the first period, limiting Kentville to a mere 4 shots and having 14 of their own. However, they could never find a goal. Kentville flipped the script in the second period, heavily outshooting Hawkesbury and scoring for themselves. Hawkesbury would give everything they had trying to find the tying goal in the third, but were found shut out. Grady Logue's 19th of the season was the only goal in the game. Dax Easter made 39 saves for the win, good for his 3rd shutout of the year. He has 3 shutouts, all of which are for different teams. Dimitri Pelikos made 25 saves in a loss for Hawkesbury. This is the Hawks' third straight loss. The season series between these two teams is tied at 2. Navan defeated Cornwall by a score of 3-1. The Grads showing why they are the creme de la creme of the CCHL with a good win here against a strong Cornwall team. Noah Carpenter, Colin McDougall, and Gabriel Crate all scoring here for the Grads. Cristobal Tola had 2 assists. In his CCHL debut, Braxton Castongo made 30 saves for the win. Jaden Nelson currently on the Ottawa 67's roster. That's why he wasn't playing here for Navan. Nathan Garney was the lone goal scorer for the Colts. In net, Donald Hickey made 42 saves in the loss. The Grads have won all 4 games against Cornwall this season and have extended their winning streak to 5. Moving on, Nepean defeated Renfrew by a score of 6-3. Renfrew giving it all they had in the first game of a home-and-home / back-to-back here against the Raiders. They had 52 shots in the game, including a 21-shot second period in which they were shut out. They didn't score until it was 5-0 Raiders in the third. That's just a little bit too little too late there for the Wolves. Oliver Band led the Raiders with 2 goals in the game. Curtis Sturgeon, Nolan DeFazio, Kyle Slingerland, and Nick Hubin also goal scorers for Nepean. Josh Reed also contributing a 3-assist night. In net, Jack Gudritis had a monster night, making 49 stops for the victory. CCHL leading scorer Jace Letourneau had a goal and an assist here for the Wolves. Andrew Morton and Matthew Paquin had the other Renfrew goals. Vyacheslav Gordichuk did not have a great night, letting in 6 goals on 20 shots in the loss. Nepean has officially won the season series versus Renfrew, winning 3 straight against the Wolves. Carleton Place defeated Pembroke by a score of 4-2, a penalty fest all around here in Carleton Place, including a warm-up violation before the game even started. All told, there were 85 penalty minutes in this game, including 4 misconducts. Pembroke tied the game too early in the third period, but Carleton Place scored a minute later to take the lead that they would never give back. Caden Ryan had a 2-goal night for the Carleton Place Canadians. Carter Pilon had scored the first goal of his season on an empty net while shorthanded. Will Soloway had the other Carleton Place goal, as well as 15 penalty minutes. Ian Vandenberg had 28 saves in the win. Easton Penna and Vitel Denis had the goals for the Lumberkings. Cam Hicklin had 2 assists. Kevin Jones made 27 saves in the loss. Carleton Place has a record of 3-1 against Pembroke this season and have also snapped a 5-game losing skid. Moving on, Hawkesbury defeated Brockville by a score of 4-2. Another game where Brockville had the game pretty close late in, which seems to be a slight trend for them, leading the game for a short time in the third, before Hawkesbury would score 3 times late in the third period to secure the win. Remy Gagne had 2 goals for Hawkesbury in the game. Alexis Billicoy and Alexis Minville had the other Hawkesbury goals. Alex Fournier and Ian Stubbins had 2 assists each for Hawkesbury as well. Caleb Chabot had a 22-save performance to get the win. Kimani Eccleston had a goal and an assist for the Braves. Anusha McGunthan had the other goal for Brockville. Edouard Pichet made 44 saves in the loss, as Hawkesbury has won all 4 games against Brockville this season. Brockville losing 4 straight on the season. OJS defeating Kempville by a score of 2-1, a game with a lot of stake here in the standings as both teams battle for some of the lower playoff spots. Kempville jumping out to an early 1-goal lead, but they would never score again as OJS scored twice to win. Justin Murdoch and Ben Albright were the goal scorers for the Junior Senators. Connor Shibley had 29 saves for the win. Emil Trottier had the only goal for the 73s. Jacob Biron had 24 saves in the loss. This is the 5th and final game between these two teams. OJS has won the season series 3-2. In the second half of their back-to-back home-and-home, Renfrew defeated Nepean by a score of 3-2. Renfrew managed to find themselves back in the win column after a pretty close game. Another game where they heavily outshot Nepean. Renfrew had combined over 90 shots in the 2 games. They would trade goals, but Nepean never actually got a lead, as they would just kind of cough up goals immediately after scoring them. Andrew Morton had 2 goals and 3 points as part of the Wolves win. Noah Vomscheit had the other Renfrew goal. He has a goal per game. Jace Lacerno has 3 assists as well as Nolan Lane manned the net again. Manned the net again this week, but for the first time back-to-back, making 32 saves in the win. Brandon Reinisch and Nicholas Papineau had the goals for the Raiders. In net, Brady McEwen made 40 saves in the losing effort. The Nepean leads the season series 3-1 now, as Renfrew broke a 3-game losing streak. Navan defeated OJS by a score of 6-1. Continuing their winning ways here are the nationally ranked Grads as they just demolished the reigning Bogart Cup champions. The Grads scored twice in a minute late in the second period, and then 3 times in the third for another big win. Devin Savniak had 2 goals in the win. Damien Poulin scoring his first CCHL goal as well for the Grads midway through the third period. Sebby Johnson, Colin McDougall, and Gabriel Crete all had goals for the Grads in the game. Nathan Hargest and Noah Carpenter had 3 assist nights. Matthew Waugh had 2 assists of his own. Braxton Kasongo had 25 saves in the win. Xavier Guilmette's second goal of the season was the only one for the Junior Senators. Will Mazenko had 38 saves in the loss. The Grads have completed a 5-game season sweep against the Ottawa Junior Senators and have won 6 straight. And finally, Pembroke defeating Carlin Place on the second half of their back-to-back home-and-home. A much calmer game than the day before, as they went simply 1-0, the lone goal coming about halfway through the second period. Kyle Cameron had the only goal of the game, his 4th of the season. Kevin Jones had the shutout for the Lumber Kings, making 31 stops. It's his second shutout of the season. Ian Vandenberg had 27 saves for his second start in as many days. Carlin Place has won the season series against Pembroke 3-2. That does it for our highlights, but there is quite a bit more to go, as they crown the 3 stars for the month of January this week. So going into the 3 stars, sponsored by Gong Show, these are the players that received first, second, or third star nominations and were named first, second, third star throughout the month of January the most. Third star was Matthew Quinn. He had 2 first-star selections and 1 second-star selection, as he totaled 17 points, 9 goals, 8 assists in 10 games of action. Second star was Nathan Garnier. The 2003 Laval, Quebec native was named first star on 3 occasions, as he picked up 11 points, 4 goals, 7 assists in 11 games. And the first star, Noah Vomscheit. This is his first month playing in the CCHL. He was the first star 3 times and second star once. He had 17 points, 10 goals, 7 assists in 9 games in January. Moving on to the performers of the month, that was also the month of January, also crowned in the last week. The skater of the month was Nico Peone, who had 27 points in 16 games so far this season. 22 of those points were in the month of January, as the Grads currently the top team in the league. Honorable mentions for skaters were Noah Vomscheit, Gabriel Crete, and Seamus Stevenson. The goalie of the month is Jacob Biron. Had a great month, obviously. Record of 16, 15, and 1 so far this season. He has a 910 save percentage and a 275 goals against average. Personally, thinking back to his 2 games against the Nepean, in which he only gave up a goal in the shootout, and otherwise had 2 shutouts back to back. The honorable mentions for goalies were Jaden Nelson, Benoit Ferget, and Kevin Jones. Finally, the rookie of the month was Ethan Smith, 2006 born from Stittsville, Ontario. He has 19 points in 35 games this season. 11 of those points were in this month, as the Wolves entered the month 5th overall. The honorable mentions for the rookies, Sean Keenwell, Donald Hickey, and Jaden Nelson. And finally, the player of the week is Andrew Morden of the Renfrew Wolves. 8 points, 6 goals, 2 assists in 3 games. That includes a hat-trick in a loss. And of course, good play in those 2 games against the Nepean as well. Honorable mentions For the player of the week, Gabriel creates Brendan Paluzak and Easton Penna. But that is going to do it for the CCHL this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great time watching. I hope to see you back here again next week. I've been Zach Beamish. Have a great rest of your day.